There's a 70% chance the blood pressure reading you took this morning was wrong, and one mistake can send seniors to the emergency room. What I'm about to show you may completely change how you trust every blood pressure reading you've ever taken at home. And when I reveal the most dangerous mistake, the one almost everyone makes without realizing it, you'll understand why thousands of seniors end up in emergency rooms every year because of readings that were never accurate to begin with. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and what you're about to learn today could literally protect your life. That number you saw on your blood pressure monitor this morning, there is a very high chance it was wrong, not slightly off, not close enough, but completely unreliable. And here's what scares me the most. Right now, somewhere, a senior is staring at a falsely high reading, panicking, calling emergency services, or taking medication they don't actually need. At the same time, somewhere else, another senior is seeing a falsely low number, feeling reassured, ignoring warning signs of a stroke or heart event that's already unfolding. I've seen both situations end in tragedy. And here's the truth, no one explains clearly enough. The device is rarely the problem, the technique is. There are 11 critical mistakes that can turn a perfectly good blood pressure monitor into a source of dangerous misinformation. One mistake alone can add crazy 20 or more points and a report card to your reading. Enough to change your diagnosis, enough to change your medication, enough to change your life for the worse. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what those 11 mistakes are and how to avoid them. But before we begin, you need to understand one important thing. Blood pressure is the most sensitive vital sign in your body. It reacts instantly to movement, posture, stress, breathing, temperature, even something as simple as a full bladder. And if you don't control those factors, your reading is not measuring your health. It's measuring noise. Let me show you what I mean. Number E, mistake number 11, measuring right after activity. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret was 68 years old, a retired teacher, extremely careful about her health. She owned a high-quality blood pressure monitor and measured every morning like clockwork. For years, her readings were beautiful. 125 over 78. Then suddenly, within 1 week, everything changed. Her readings jumped to 165 over 95, then 170 over 98, then 168 over 96. She was terrified. She thought she was having a hypertensive crisis, but nothing about her health had changed. What had changed was her routine. 3 weeks earlier, her daughter encouraged her to be more active. So every morning, Margaret walked to the end of her driveway to get the newspaper. Just a short walk. Then she climbed the stairs back to her bedroom, where her blood pressure monitor was. She measured immediately. That small amount of movement was enough to elevate her heart rate and activate her nervous system. She wasn't measuring resting blood pressure, she was measuring active blood pressure. The difference can be massive, 30 points, 40 points, sometimes more. Margaret's real resting blood pressure never changed, but her doctor increased her medication anyway. Her actual blood pressure dropped too low. She became dizzy, weak, nearly fainted, all because of one innocent mistake. Before measuring blood pressure, you must rest quietly for at least 5 full minutes. No walking, no stairs, no chores, no activity at all, just sitting. Mistake number 10, a full bladder. Now let me tell you about Harold. Harold was 74 and measured his blood pressure every morning at the same time. For years, his readings were stable. Then suddenly they began creeping up. No medication changes, no stress, no illness. What changed? He started drinking more water before bed. Good hydration, but he was measuring his blood pressure before using the bathroom. A full bladder can raise blood pressure by 10 to 15 points, sometimes more. Why? Because internal pressure triggers your nervous system and constricts blood vessels. Once Harold used the bathroom first, his readings returned to normal immediately. For the mistake number 9, talking during measurement. Now this one surprises people. Talking, even calm conversation, alters breathing, muscle tension, and nervous system activity. Blood pressure monitors rely on extremely subtle pressure signals. Talking disrupts those signals. The device doesn't warn you, it simply gives you a wrong number. Let me tell you about Diane. She measured her blood pressure every evening while talking to her daughter on the phone. Her evening readings were always higher. Once she measured in silence, the numbers matched her morning readings perfectly. Mistake number 8. Incorrect arm position. This is not about comfort. This is about gravity. Let me tell you about Thomas. Thomas was 76 years old and convinced his blood pressure monitor was defective. At home, his readings were consistently low. In the doctor's office, they were much higher. He bought 3 different monitors. All showed the same thing. When I asked him to demonstrate how he measured at home, the problem became obvious. He sat on his couch and held his arm out in front of him, unsupported, while the cuff inflated. His arm was above heart level. When your arm is higher than your heart, gravity reduces the pressure in the artery. That gives a falsely low reading. If your arm hangs down below heart level, gravity increases pressure, giving a falsely high reading. The difference can be 10, 15, even 20 points. The correct position is simple but exact. Sit in a chair with back support, feet flat on the floor. Rest your arm on a table or armrest so the middle of the cuff is exactly level with your heart. Not close, not approximately, exactly. Your arm must be supported and completely relaxed. Once Thomas fixed this, his home readings matched the office readings perfectly. Mistake number 7. Wrong cuff size. This mistake is more dangerous than most people realize, and it can change your reading by 30 to 50 points. Let me tell you about Ruth. Ruth was 69, petite, with thin arms. She had been treated for high blood pressure for 3 years. Her home readings were always high. Her doctor kept increasing medications, but Ruth felt terrible. Dizzy, weak, exhausted. Those are signs of blood pressure that is actually too low. When I measured her arm, her circumference was 9 inches. Her cuff was designed for arms 11 to 14 inches. It was far too large. A cuff that is too big cannot compress the artery correctly. The monitor compensates by inflating more, producing a falsely high reading. Once Ruth used the correct cuff size, her reading dropped to normal instantly. She had been over-medicated for years because of a simple equipment mismatch. The rule is non-negotiable. Measure your upper arm circumference. Check the range printed on your cuff. If they don't match, your readings are unreliable. Mistake number 6. Measuring at random times. Blood pressure follows a daily rhythm. It rises in the morning, peaks late morning or early afternoon, falls in the evening. This is normal. Let me tell you about Franklin. Franklin measured whenever he remembered. Morning, afternoon, night. His readings were all over the place. His doctor had no idea what to do with the data. Once Franklin measured twice daily, same times every day, the chaos disappeared. The protocol is simple: morning before breakfast and medication, evening before dinner, same times, every day. Consistency creates meaning. Mistake number 5: not keeping a proper log. Memory lies. People remember the scary readings. They forget the normal ones. Let me tell you about Sandra. She said her blood pressure was usually okay. No dates, no times, no numbers. Once she started logging every reading, date, time, both numbers, patterns emerged. Patterns guide treatment. Without a log, measurements are useless. Reassured mistake number 4: measuring while stressed or emotionally upset. This one creates a vicious cycle. Let me tell you about Edward. Edward was 70 years old and checked his blood pressure every morning while watching the news. Politics, crime, disasters. Every single reading was high. He was convinced his condition was worsening. But here's what was really happening. Stress activates your sympathetic nervous system. Adrenaline rises, cortisol rises, blood vessels constrict, heart rate increases, blood pressure spikes. And then something dangerous happens. You see a high number. That creates anxiety. Anxiety raises blood pressure even more. You measure again. The number goes higher. This is called home white coat hypertension. The solution is simple but powerful. Measure in silence. No television, no phone, no news. Sit quietly. Breathe slowly. Let your nervous system settle. Edward's readings dropped by more than 20 points just by changing the environment. Mistake number 3: only measuring one arm. Most people always use the same arm without ever checking the other. That can hide serious disease. Let me tell you about Patricia. Patricia was 73. She had measured her left arm for 5 years. Always normal readings. During a routine visit, her doctor measured both arms. Left arm, normal. Right arm, dramatically higher. That difference led to testing. Severe arterial narrowing. High stroke risk. If only one arm had been measured, the warning sign would have been missed. Here's the rule. For the first week, measure both arms. If one arm is consistently higher by more than 10 points, always use the higher arm going forward and inform your doctor. If the difference is large, 15 or more, that requires medical attention. All right. Mistake number 2: taking only one reading. Blood pressure fluctuates minute to minute. One reading tells you almost nothing. Let me tell you about Vincent. Vincent took one reading every morning, some days normal, some days high, complete confusion. In the office, we took 3 readings, first high, second lower, third normal. His body needed time to relax. The correct method is this: take 3 readings, wait 1 to 2 minutes between each. Ignore the first, average the second and third. That average is your true blood pressure for that session. This alone resolves most unstable blood pressure complaints. Now we arrive at the most important moment, the mistake that almost everyone makes. The one that can add 15, 20, even 30 points to your reading. The one that makes every other correct step meaningless. Mistake number 1: placing the cuff over clothing or a rolled up sleeve. This is catastrophic, and it's shockingly common. Let me tell you about Alice. Alice was 74, careful, organized, followed every rule. Yet her readings were always high. When I asked her to demonstrate, the answer was immediate. She rolled up her sleeve. That rolled fabric acted like a tourniquet. It restricted blood flow before the cuff even inflated. The monitor didn't know that. It just produced a falsely high number. Even thin clothing creates a barrier that disrupts pressure detection. Sometimes readings go falsely high, sometimes falsely low. You never know which. That makes the number meaningless. The rule is absolute. Always measure on bare skin. No rolled sleeves, no fabric, no bandages. Remove the clothing entirely if needed. When Alice measured correctly, her reading dropped more than 20 points. She had been medicated unnecessarily for years. Here's the complete gold standard protocol. Now let me give you the exact system. Follow this, and your readings become medically reliable. 1. Measure twice daily, morning before food and medication, evening before dinner. 2. Empty your bladder. 3. Avoid caffeine, smoking, or exercise for 30 minutes. 4. Sit with back supported, feet flat on the floor. 5. Arms supported at heart level. 6. Bare skin only. 7. Rest quietly for 5 minutes. 8. No talking, no movement. 9. Take 3 readings. 10. Average the second and third. 11. Log everything with date and time. This turns your home monitor into a true medical tool. Yushi. Final story. George was 77. He made every mistake on this list. His readings were chaos. He was on 4 medications. He felt miserable. Once we fixed his technique, the truth appeared. His blood pressure was controlled on just 2 medications. We reduced the others. His energy returned. The dizziness disappeared. Nothing changed except how he measured. Final message. Your blood pressure predicts your risk of stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, and cognitive decline. But only if the numbers are real. Now you know the truth. Share this with anyone who measures blood pressure at home. Subscribe for more senior health guidance that cuts through confusion. Your health deserves accurate information. I'll see you in the next video.